We're really excited about how we've positioned Banyan and really appreciate Brian giving us this opportunity to speak. You're looking at a photograph of our property. That is 6.2 million ounces of an on-surface deposit from I don't have a laser, unfortunately, but from the top of the hill, just under the title, down to the yellow swoosh on the side. That's your power line in Oryx Hill deposit. That's our largest deposit. And this is really a remarkable deposit. We made that discovery in 2019. Lots of projects have been around for lots of years, and new companies come in and raise more money and try to develop an economic project. We made our discovery at Powerline in 2019, and here we are today with a combined resource of 6.2 million ounces. And when you look at that photograph as a mine builder, I see really moderate topography. I don't see any big lakes, any big rivers, no mountains, no glaciers. That's all fabulous. And in fact, through the center of that photo, you'll see a main highway year-round maintained by the government. The road that comes out to the front of that image is the road to Victoria Gold. It's also a government year-round maintained road. You can't see it, but there's also a brand new power line that goes right through there that's only energized to half its capacity right now. And it serves 2 mines already. And it's only 50 kilometers to the hydroelectric dam just near Mayo. And of course, that is also connected to the whole Yukon grid. So grid-connected property. We need about 50 meters of power line from the power company to connect to our site. That's pretty, most people are talking in kilometers, not meters. We just have to get across the highway right away, then we would have our own infrastructure. So for me, those are absolutely huge advantages, infrastructure. And I think as I move forward, you'll see we've got some other key advantages. One being the jurisdiction that we're in. You know, we're part of that Tombstone Belt, and everybody in the room's heard about the successes from Snowline. Out to the east, these are intrusion-related deposits. Ours is the same. Victoria Gold is an intrusion-related deposit. Key difference between us and them, we haven't found our intrusion yet. These types of deposits are formed when a large intrusion comes up. We're actually in the rocks surrounding, above, or beside the intrusion. We haven't found it yet. The metasedimentary rocks, which that mineralization leaked out into. And it is extremely unusual to have as large of a deposit as we have. And we have infrastructure, roads, cell phone, right on the property as well. We have 2 mines right beside us, which have been permitted in recent years, Hecla and Victoria Gold. There you can see the deposit. We're focused on what would be an open pit project, so 200 meters from surface, roughly. We know this mineralization goes to depth. If those of you who came to our technical geoscience presentation would know that we've actually traced this mineralization to over 400 meters deep with some of our drill holes. And lots of these deposits are very long-lived, but you focus on the upper portion of the deposit in the early days because that's really what drives the NPV. Since we put out this resource in May of this year, we have drilled between Oryx Hill and Powerline and connected them and expanded Oryx Hill. And here you can just see how fast we've advanced this. No resource until 2020, and here we are in 2023 with 6.2 million ounces. Our track record for adding ounces is less than $7.40 per ounce, or if you look back, it's 40 to 45 ounces per meter that we've added on average. That's a pretty good track record. We spend our shareholders' dollars very, very efficiently, with 85% of the dollars that we've raised being spent on exploration, not on G&A, which I think if you look at lots of public companies. So 6.2 million ounces, that's very significant. 0.61, yes, I think people say, oh, that's a large, low-grade bulk tonnage deposit. Yes, but I'm going to show you about the higher grade that we think we also have. And that's going to be important as we move forward into potential project development. But having that size and scale, as Brian alluded to, that's what the majors want. You need over 5 million ounces for majors to even start to take a look. We've hit that with our resource this year. Plus, we know we've added ounces with the 25,000 meters we drilled this last year, and we put out those results earlier this year showing not only that we've added ounces, but that there's still exploration potential on the property with the deposits remaining open. We haven't even drilled airstrip since 2019, and it's still open. It's just we have so many targets out there to drill. We've got a leadership team that has a track record of value creation, fabulous shareholders. Infrastructure in these projects is so important. It's important for permitting, it's important for capital and operating costs. Having one self-governing First Nation in Canada, having good relationships with First Nations is so important. It's something that our team takes very, very seriously. But we have the benefit of having a First Nation that has businesses that rely on the mining industry and relationships with two existing mines in addition to being a settled First Nation, which gives us a clearer pathway through permitting. We're year-round. Most people think of the Yukon and think, well, you can't work in the year. We've drilled to December 20th. It's not just because we're hardy, it's because, and know what we're doing, it's also because we have the infrastructure in place to do that. And that's really important as this project's going to move forward very quickly. We've got a strong treasury, which I'll also show you. You know, when I start to think about districts in Canada and all around the world, generally, you know, these belts of mineralization are discovered. You get 1 or 2 mines built, and as more discoveries are, it really does become a district. If you were to draw a circle around us right now, we'd have 18 million ounces in gold equivalent resources. Not just, you know, there's lots of projects with new discoveries around us. And we have the benefit of having an existing mine, actually 2, with Hecla's mill right beside us. It's focused on silver, but it is a mill, with roads, green power already there. And I think with the discoveries, with us increasing our resource, with Victoria Gold's Raven, what they have at their site, that number is going to go up above that 20 million number, which I also think is a critical number for majors. We have a great team in place with all the skills, who have a track record of success, but really positioning ourselves well with both the mining experience, the exploration experience, the metallurgy experience that we need as we move into the next phases. In terms of treasury, we're standing with $7 million, and those of you that saw our financials yesterday saw that we had $700,000 in income last year, and that's unusual for a junior, but we're unusual. We really care about our shareholders' dollars, and we'd have rentals and other services which actually bring in pretty good income, and we'll continue to do that through this year, which means most of our G&A is covered by that, so most of our dollars will go into exploration. We have great shareholders. Those of you who know the story know I'm a 4% shareholder and the 3rd CEO. I've bought that in market. Every option I've ever exercised, I've held, even though I had to pay the taxes. Haven't sold a single share. Victoria Gold at 11% is very important. They vetted our project technically, and they've got a mine right beside us. Are they the only potential acquirer or partner for us? Absolutely not. There are lots of people looking at this district with the new discoveries and the scale of mineral endowment around us. Lots of supportive shareholders. Our financing have generally been done without warrants. That is really sets us up for success. ESG is something that's very important. I'd love you to come talk to us about it. I'm going to run out of time on that today. There's that resource with the results that we put out earlier this week. Continuing to show this deposit is open. We know there's higher grade, and that's a part of the story for 2024, and I'd love to talk to you about it. We know there's higher grade. We can see higher grade right in the surface. We see it in the drill holes. Understanding the continuity of that is definitely one of our goals for 2024, because that will be important in showing what the ultimate NPV of this project is. If we'd have picked a 0.5 cutoff, we would have had 4.5 million ounces at 0.95. So we know there's high grade within there. We know that when you look at the sensitivity charts, as we go up cutoff grade, we don't lose very many ounces. We've had great success with our drilling. We're starting to understand where we are and doing a lot of technical work, both understanding the high grade and looking for other exploration targets. We have our Nitra property off to the west, which gives us 300 square kilometers in this district. Known intrusions over there, lots of excitement. That's greenfields though. It takes a little bit longer, but we know that the scheelite dome deposit there is a known gold-bearing intrusion. On the metallurgy, that's something that we're putting a lot of time and effort into because we know we need to get this right. We do know we have processing options. Originally, everybody looked at us as just a Victoria Gold 2.0. We think it gives us greater value to show that there's optionality with mill options as well, particularly with Victoria Gold's Raven right across the valley, less than 4 kilometers to that deposit. So we are looking at very conventional processing with CIP, CIL, and flotation so that we have all the answers when people knock on our door to ask us how this will be processed. We have a huge advantage in permitting in that we have a wealth of baseline data, and we've started our own baseline data. Huge advantages being in a brownfield area with one settled First Nation. The 5th largest undeveloped open pit project in North America, and I'd argue we have the potential to go up that curve. Pretty exciting to be in that position as people begin to look for, or corporates begin to look to increase their resources and reserves. I won't belabor this, but pretty good valuation at $10 per ounce, roughly. And we've worked really hard to strategically position this for our shareholders. There are not very many projects out there with the scale of resource, infrastructure, permittability, baseline data, 2 mines beside us, very compelling regional exploration. Look for us to have exciting catalysts through 2024 in a jurisdiction that's going to continue to generate excitement with discoveries, including from us. Thank you, Brian.